Okay, welcome everybody. It is finally time for episode 2. It has certainly been a while. Summer is happening in full swing. I figured out how to construct the top of the dress that I'm crocheting, which is what this series is about. So, yeah, things happen. Last episode, where we left off was I was starting prototype number 3, which I was going to be working in the round, and I did. And this is the result. It's a very pretty sort of lace when it's this way, and then when you turn it this way, because this is the waist, it flops. But I figured out why. And this is also why I had trouble with the other prototypes that I tried. So what this pattern is, actually let me show you the drawing. I think it's a little bit clearer on that. And we're going to take a little crochet needle to point with. Basically, you do what's called a picot, which is you chain 5 stitches and then you do a single crochet in the first one, so you get a little bubble. Then you do a treble crochet in the 4th stitch from where you did your picot. You do 3 more picots and then a treble in the same as the first treble. You do another picot and then you skip another 3 and you do 3 single crochet, and that's the pattern. So next row you're gonna have your trebles come down in the middle single crochet of those single crochets you made, and the single crochets for that round is going to be in the top picot, the middle picot from the last round. But that means that at the top of each row you have 3 little picot, which are basically like knots, let's say. They're not knots, but let's say they are. And then you put 3 single crochets in that as well. So it's a top heavy pattern, which is why when it's hanging, it's so beautiful. It drapes. It has a nice sort of fall to it. But when you turn it around, it's top heavy. So that's not gonna work for the top, at least not in that way. So prototype 4, I tried starting at the shoulder and working down, and working with increases instead, and just straight increases in the front and then several more increases in the back to get that scooped effect. And I could not figure it out. Someone who's better at math or construction of clothing than me can probably figure it out, and if you do, and if you make that dress, it'll probably be beautiful. I couldn't get my head around it. It didn't work out for me. So I started looking around again, and I went to the antiquepatternlibrary.org. I have a link in my first video. I'll link it below this one as well. They have a collection of old pattern books, historical, and up to early modern, let's say. I don't know how you would define that, but let's say that. And I found a book by Winifred Clark, which was called Crocheted Yokes and Boudoir Caps, Volume 2. I did look at Volume 1 as well, yes. But this is what I found. It's called the Mile a Minute Yoke. And a yoke is something that you have across the shoulders and around the neck of a nightgown, say, or a dressing gown, or you do have yokes on normal dresses as well, but these are specifically for nightgowns and that type of thing. But this is the pattern, and I thought it was really cute. It's almost, it reminds me of petals, and it's worked where you start. Let's do that. You start here, let's say. Sorry. You start here. And then you work with increases down to the tip of the thing. And then you work fewer little arches again. And then you increase until you get here. But it's a very simple repeat of one little arch, which then gets 5 little arches. So it's to me, that's like the center of a flower and then a little spread of petals around it. And I did a prototype with that. And this is the most complete prototype that I have made of this project. It looks like this. So this will be the front. This is just going to be like that. You can see the little petals there. So cute. So that is going to be the front. It's going to be a high neck front. Not quite this high neck, but to illustrate. And then I got the back to work out. This is the mid back. And this is the shoulder. And you can't see it quite properly because it's not on a dress form and I'm not wearing it. I have worn it. And I'm very happy with the way it sort of falls and drapes. So yeah, I found a new pattern and I worked out the prototype. So that's how we're gonna do the top. The bottom, I might still go back to the other lace pattern because I really think it's so pretty. And to have it as the skirt would work perfectly fine, because then you'd work it from the waist and downwards. We'll see. I that's a question for later. We're gonna start and try and construct the top. See how that works out. Because one other interesting thing that happened was my yarn arrived. And let's see if I can pronounce this correctly. It's a Malabrigo lace. I will link that as well for those who don't like my mangling of the pronunciation. It's in the Archangel colorway. Isn't that beautiful? With the purple and the red and the little orange. I love that. So I don't know if you watched the first one, but I had to order it from 2 different places to get enough. I now have 6 of these skeins that I need to ball and then start crocheting. I really hope that's going to be enough, because it looks as if I'm going to have to order it from the US if this isn't enough. I've already ordered 4 of these from Sweden, which is where I am, and 2 of them from France. And it is running out. So that's interesting. I really hope I have enough yarn. Another thing is it's a lace yarn. And I figured my eye measurements aren't great. I figured the one I was working with was a lace, and I think it is, but this is a much finer lace. So the ones I've been working with a 2mm needle. You see that? That is really tiny. The Malabrigo, I'm gonna have to work with a 1.5mm needle. That is even tinier. So that also means, because with a 2mm needle and the yarn I had, it worked out to 200 stitches around, and that would pass over my hips. Because I am not using buttons and buttonholes, I'm not putting in a zipper, I'm not doing any of that. I just wanted to pull on, and then my hips or my bum is the widest part of me, so that's what it has to get past. 200 chains with a 2mm needle with the yarn I had worked, and both of the lace patterns worked out with that. One was a divide by 10 and the other was a divide by 9, and that is like the base. How many chains do you need to get this pattern to work, so you don't end up with like weird intersections where they connect. I have to recalculate that, so that's gonna be fun. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's gonna work out with 220 chains, because then it'll still work out somewhat similarly to what I've done. But yeah, so taking the skeins and turning them into balls of yarn and recalculating how many stitches I need are gonna be first step, and then we're gonna go from there and we're gonna construct the top, and once we've constructed the top, we're gonna decide if we want the same stitch for the skirt or if we want to go back to the first lace pattern for the skirt. And then we're going to do that, whichever we decide, all the while hoping that we have enough yarn. There is a point somewhere here where I'm finding that, yeah, I should have planned this. I should have thought it out beforehand. But that's not how I work. And there are plenty of crocheters out there who will show you their projects and give you exact information, and I improvise. So I hope that what I'm doing here is showing that you don't always have to have a plan. Sometimes you can wing it, because I still think this is going to work out. I really do. And, you know, hopefully some of you will stick with me and see what happens. I hope next time I check in, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to have been as long a time between as it was this time. I'm going to try and come back in a couple of weeks. You know, everyday life permitting. Things happen. And hopefully I'm going to have something to show you that has been crocheted. Yay! Wish me luck. Bye.